Let's get focused. Joe, good morning. Thank you for being here. Super excited to finally have you on the Phelan Focus. So tell me, tell everyone who you are, what you're up to, and we'll kind of jump into what we're talking about today.
I am Jocelyn Espejo, aka Joe. I am the founder of Branding by Joe, and it's morphed into a boutique brand agency. My passion is helping entrepreneurs build a brand that allows them to get out there and do the thing, is the best way that I can sum it up in like a quick thing. But honestly, it's making sure that everything is consistent and aligned and that they can connect with their people in the best way that they can.
So, why branding? I feel like a lot of people get so stuck on branding or they just skip it. And so it's almost like one or the other. So, why or how have you chosen to niche down into branding? Yeah, just share how you ended up focusing on producing that as value.
So for me, ultimately, branding, really doing my personal branding is what changed the game for me. So I went from doing all the things, checking all the boxes, feeling like if you would have asked me, and I did say this, I have done all of the things, it's not working. And then finally got challenged, and somebody was like, cool, where are you? Like, what do you mean, where am I? I have the logo, I have the website, here's all my work. I'm posting consistently on social. She's like, cool, where are you? I don't see you. I'm like, you don't need to see me. You just need to see my work. No one needs to see my face. They just want to see what I can do for them. And she's like, okay, so yeah, but no. So I challenge you, show up in your social. She's like, at least every 9 posts, get a picture up and start showing up. And I did that. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking branding is a logo and a website. So many entrepreneurs tell me, I have my branding done. I have
Yeah,
colors, I
totally.
have fonts, I have a logo, I have a website, I'm good. I
Yep.
was like, yep, been there, done that, thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And the amount of time I poured into my first website is obscene. Like, and then I changed it. So I tell people, I'm like, guys, ultimately, done is better than perfect. But when it comes to branding, it's all encompassing. For me, it's what people are saying about you when you're not in the room. So when that comes up, is it really the logo? How many of us even really remember logos? Unless you get to the point that you're like a Nike or a Target or a McDonald's where you recognize the logo and you're like, I know exactly what that is. It's really not that important. What it really comes down to is that know, like, and trust factor. And then how do we get that? It's from the people. So
Interesting. I love the way you put that. The branding is what people say about you when you're not in the room. That's great. That's so great. Let's talk niching down and pivoting just in your career in general, what that looks like. Talk me through some of the pivots that you've been through.
goodness, man, if you would have met me before I was an entrepreneur, my whole goal was going to college, getting a degree, getting a corporate job, working my way up the corporate ladder. That is what success looked like to me. Spent some time doing that and realized I was spending a lot of time building someone else's legacy, building their empire. And I went through an exit. My boss exited, left, and I was like, well, that kind of sucked. Here we go. And just that's entrepreneurship kind of fell in my lap. But the more that I started to dabble in it, the more that I started to see that maybe there was an opportunity for the life that I wanted to live where I could have something I could be passionate about, but also not have a boss that would tell me I could work 24/7, except for when I needed time off. I wasn't available to take time off. So I shifted. I left corporate finally. It took me a long time. My business was a side hustle for about 10 years before I finally took that leap of faith to make the shift. And to be honest, I kept saying, I'll leave when, and at the time I was doing wedding photography. I'll leave when I'm booked out for a year or I'm
Mm-hmm.
booked out for whatever. And then that time just never came. And if I look back at that phase in my life, my job, my paycheck took priority always over my business. So, and I would burn out and then put the camera down, pick it back up again, do that whole thing. And I realized split focus was difficult. So, trying to be an operations manager and also a business owner, there's just only so many hours in a day, so many ways that your mind can work. So, I made the pivot, decided to go full time in my business. And that was a game changer. All of a sudden, because I was talking about what I did, available to do more sessions, my calendar started filling up. I will say the biggest thing for me that has caused pivots in my business is listening to people. I started getting phone calls
Mm-hmm.
asking if I did headshots.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, I'm kind of dense. It took me five. It took me 5 phone calls in a matter of 5 days for like me to be like, oh wait,
Yeah, just
hold
say
on.
yes.
Maybe I do headshots.
Yeah.
Like right after I said no, no, no. And then I was like,
Yeah.
wait, yes, yes, I do.
Yeah.
And then I said, I don't do backdrops. I don't have a studio, but I can absolutely do lifestyle headshots. And
Nice.
then that just kind of opened up a door. So like pivoting and saying I'm niching into branding,
Yep.
leaving
Yep.
families. I had been doing families for so much longer. So
Yep.
that was still a bigger pie.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I decided to niche and go all into branding, I was able to get very targeted in my messaging, very clear on what I wanted to deliver.
Hmm.
And then that blew up. And so just you can make major pivots. You just have to be open and willing to dive in. So when it comes to niching down, I tell people all the time, you could be a jack of all trades and then get nobody, or you can be a specialist. And then that's when people really want to come in. Because if you think about it, there's some things that we're okay working with the person that, yeah, I can handle that. But then when it comes to major things, you want to work with the people that that's what they do, that's what they know. So if you can specialize and then niching down for me, I tell people it just comes down to the messaging and then don't be afraid because you're still going to get referrals. Always kind of be in the zone of discovery and listen to what your clients need and then adapt. When I first started in branding, videography was not as big as it is now.
Sure.
And if I wouldn't have added on video, I probably would have been left in the dust
Yeah.
because my clients need it. Like it's not even a jump on the bandwagon to try to make money. What do my clients really need ultimately to help them establish themselves as a brand? And
Hmm.
then can we provide those services?
There's several layers to it. So one is being an entrepreneur, and then the other is being a business owner, and like you said, managing a team. And there's that space of discovery where you're constantly looking and scoping out opportunities, what you're doing well, what you could do better, what are some other markets that you could potentially get into. And then as you build your team, you then have to add that skill set development. Like I was just in a leadership meeting this week, and so as an organization, we all collectively have this approach of we're all trying to discover and learn something new. And as a business owner, and once you get into managing a team, and you can start delegating. Well, whatever you delegate, you now have to fill that with a new skill set, or business development opportunity, or whatever that might be. So it's this constant habit that you develop of looking for opportunities, and while you're also trying to develop this new skill, whether it's business development or leadership, communication, planning, delegation, it's never ending.
The people that paint the picture that they're by poolside, like living their best life and doing nothing, most likely have an entire team of people behind them that are doing something because businesses do not run just by
Casually.
pool, by poolside chats.
Oh, you don't have a pet? You haven't turned this into a passive income stream yet?
I'm still trying. When somebody else tells me passive income, I think
That's
I may
awesome.
end up stabbing someone in the face. Like
Yeah.
that's a pretty aggressive
Yeah.
response, but that has been something I pursued very hard. And then I realized there is no passive anything. It's
At all.
Let me redefine what passive income is. Passive income is that you have poured a lot of time and effort to set something up and to have it continue running on the back end, but it's not passive. It's just not maybe forward facing. Like
Hmm.
you may not get my face if you buy my course.
Hmm.
It's on video, but man, the amount of hours I have poured into creating that, putting it up, and then keeping it running. I think passive is a relative term. We'll throw that in there with like a branding. That's a whole very fun bucket
Yeah.
of words that you can put into that.
It's like saying I have a garden, right? That's probably the best analogy, is to sort of dissuade the passive income, um, you know, goal that people have. Like, I want to create passive income. It's like, you should not be an entrepreneur. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Good luck. That's great. That's great. There's definitely ways to do it, but just in general, starting and running a business, the last thing that it is passive.
Well, and everything requires nurturing. Like you said, the garden is a great analogy because it can look really beautiful and full, but if you leave it unattended, you turn your back, and the next thing you know, something has overrun it, or it forgot to get watered, or whatever the case may be. And it can turn that quickly on you. So it's one of those. And I try to shift it now. For me, I no longer say I'm looking for a passive income stream. For me, I'm looking to diversify my income stream so that I don't have all of my eggs in one basket, but that's my goal. It's like, okay, how can and is there a way to scale this? So when I look at offers that I'm creating and I'm looking at different things I'm getting into, let go of I want to find a passive income option. It's more of what stream of revenue can I do? And then how scalable is this? So if I'm creating an offer that's requiring my time, my face, me being behind the camera, that's great. But there's only so many days I can be behind the camera, so many clients I can serve that way. And then unless I can charge an obscene amount of money, I may not get to the income goals that I have based on the number of days I'm willing to work. So then it shift back onto, okay, now how can I do an offer that maybe allows me to talk to 5 to 10 people at a time, or what the case may be. But yeah, it's passive income is a myth. I love it, but it's a myth.